Good morning, all. Today is a sunny day here in Southern California. This is one of my citrus trees. This particular tree is the product of several years of cross-pollinating different varieties. The tree itself is a seedling, meaning it was not grafted. And it's been here in the ground. Don't remember exactly, but I would say from 15 to 18 years, more or less. And yeah, it has grown really nice, lush. It has a good structure, has several branches growing from the bottom of the tree. How do you achieve this? Sometimes it may seem drastic, but when you buy a tree, it's a single leader, and you're going to have to cut it in order to develop some side branching and have a wider spreading canopy. Anyways, today the program is about fertilizing naturally your trees without using any chemical fertilizers or things like that. Anyways, what I like to do, I like to go to the nursery and buy a bulk combination of several yards. In my case, because I have a large yard with a lot of trees, this mix is 2 yards of mulch, 2 yards of compost, and 1 yard of half and half. Half and half contains topsoil as well as some sand and some organics. As you can see, the mix has a lot of organic matter into it. And the organic is the most important part because it will serve not only an insulator from the sun and the heat, it will preserve the moisture that you have in the base of the tree where it matters, for the roots feed. The roots of the citrus as well as the avocado, they're not deep. They run a little bit on the surface, so you have to deliver the nutrients to the surface as well as the water. Deep watering is not overdoing it. You have to do deep watering here and there. But in my case, I add from 4 to 6 inches to the perimeter of the tree, not at the base. As you can see, the base is clear. The roots are not at the base. The roots have spread out already, more or less to the same perimeter as the canopy. Okay, the canopy in my case has outgrown the space, so I'm adding the mix to cover as much space under the tree as possible. Another reason why not to put the mix on the base of the trunk is to keep it from rotting, because if you pile it up against the trunk, that gets wet, it stays wet, and eventually it's going to rot your trunk. And you don't want that for your tree. So, this is how I fertilize. All you have to do is either go to a nursery and buy bulk, a yard. It's good, depends on the size of your garden. You can also go to the local hardware store and just buy some garden soil or potting mix, or even grow mulch would do. Just stay away from the bark type of mulches. The bark mulches, we don't know what they come from. Sometimes it comes from pine trees, from trees that their sap is not very healthy for other trees to thrive and grow. So yeah, just regular grow mulch or a mix of compost and organics and all that. The great benefit of this is that the worms, the night crawlers, love the organic stuff, especially when it's moist. So this whole area is going to stay moist because of the water you're going to apply. It's going to stay moist because the mix that we're adding is an insulator, and that's the perfect environment for worms to thrive. So the worms will eat all the organics and then poop it, and then you have the best natural fertilizer you can have. It is called worm castings, and that will outdo any other kind of fertilizer. Now, it's slow release because as the worm eat it, they poop it, It's not an overnight process. This process could last a whole year or 2 years. So in my case, I do this yearly. And I do it at the end of the spring or the beginning of summer. I try to stay as close to the spring as possible. I would usually do it by the end of March. This year I'm late. I've been busy doing other things. But still in time. The heat is just beginning in California. Summertime begins, mid-June. So yeah, we're a couple of weeks ahead and on time to protect the tree, to preserve a moist environment, and not to waste the water to the sun. So my watering technique is going to be a little late in the day, maybe 5-6 p.m. so that way the water gets absorbed into the ground better than what it does when you water in the morning. The morning water and heat produces a lot of humidity and evaporation, and you will lose a big percentage of your water that way. Keep the water away from the trunk. Just try to water the sides of the tree, below the canopy, so where the roots are, the feeding roots, they live and they thrive on the contour of the trunk, of the main trunk. So it serves no purpose to be watering the base of the tree. Water the sides, a feet or 2 feet away, and from there on, depending how wide is your canopy. So yeah, this is how I like to fertilize my trees. I do every single tree in the yard. I do it this way, and I try not to use any artificial fertilizers to my plants. Try to stay organic, quote unquote. So yeah, this is Frank with Frank and Fruits. Thank you for watching.